Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to my best of 2017. Today we're taking a look at my favorite expansions from the year. I'm a huge fan of expansions. I like to play expansions that, I like to play really fun games, right? And so an expansion takes a game I already know is really fun and they often make it better. That's why I always get excited about them. And a lot of great expansions came out. And in fact, some expansions came out that I'm in the middle of playing now that may have been on this list had I made it later. But these are the 10 at the time of me making this list. We'll start with number 10. And this one is number 10 very specifically because I had a hand in the designing of parts of it. And that's Merry Men for Sheriff of Nottingham. A lot of the original concepts in the game were things that came out of ideas that I had. And then I let it go and the designer made it all. And they did a great job. I like Sheriff of Nottingham a lot. And I always have people complain, truth-telling seems so powerful. I don't think so, really. But this expansion definitely makes lying a much more interesting option. And I like just the different modules. I'm always a big fan of expansions with modules. And so having different modules, the laws, and even adding the 6th player. I thought that was a bad idea, right? But they did it in a good way that there's 2 deputies, and I think the whole thing comes together very nicely. Number 9 is Venus Next. 2 expansions came out for Terraforming Mars this year. Venus Next is the one I like better because while the other one came out with a new map, which was neat, Venus Next adds more cards, which I'm much more interested in. It added a new a new kind of unit that you can put on to get cards, but it just also lets other cards go well. It has another little Venus board type thing, but I just wanted the more cards and more corporations because more variety, I think, always makes these games a lot more fun. So highly recommend it. Venus Next. Number 8 is Golden Fleece for Santorini. Now, Santorini is a fantastic game in its own right, and there's a lot of options and things. Each person's a god, which is going to really change the way the game is structured. But in Golden Fleece, there's a lot more gods. They add the actual Golden Fleece, which is a cool thing, but the more gods, and then the heroes, which were not quite as powerful as gods, but still changed the game up. Just a lot more options in this. This is one of those where if you're buying Santorini, I say, just get the Golden Fleece while you're at it. Number 7 is the France and Old West maps for Ticket to Ride. If you want to see these, we actually played these live on our channel, both of them. I think France more than Old West. Old West was not bad, but France I really, really liked, where the most of the tracks out there don't even have any color, and you add the color to what the trains are as the game progresses, which is kind of a really unique, interesting feel. Not one for new players, perhaps, but I play Ticket to Ride so much that I really enjoy these new maps a lot. So France and Old West for Ticket to Ride. Number 6 is the Wind Gambit expansion for Scythe. Now, this is the second expansion for Scythe. The first one added more factions, which is fine, and they were cool. But this one adds big airships, and they didn't fool around. These airships are humongous. And the way they have these airships in the game, where airships have an attack ability and then a kind of more sedate ability, a non-aggressive ability. But that ability is for everyone, and they change. So each game, the airships are going to act differently. They don't change the game in sweeping fashion. They do open it up a little bit, make it easier to move around, which I enjoy. And I liked what they added. So the Wind Gambit for Scythe. Number 5 is the Time Stories module, Expedition Endurance. 2 Time Stories modules came out this year. I guess their 1 a quarter thing is not going to happen. But the Expedition Endurance, I can't really say too much about it other than, without spoiling it. But the theming of this, you might find me normally not enjoying this theme, but I thought in this particular setting, the theme worked extremely well. You're in the Arctic, and there's strange things. The beginning of this game, they did a gimmicky, cool trick, which worked really well. It really had a pervading sense of kind of horror as we went through it. It was just a really fun experience. Time Stories Expedition Endurance. Number 4 is Eldritch Horror's Cities in Ruin. I almost put Dreamlands because part of Dreamlands I really liked. But Cities in Ruin is one of the small expansions. I do tend to like the small Eldritch Horror expansions better than the big ones. Cities in Ruin add cities that are actually blowing up over the board. It's like catastrophes. It's 2012 in the board game, and I just really like that. It gave this more physical thing, like, this London just burned down, and then this city happens, and I found that interesting. Makes the game much harder, of course, but I enjoyed it, and that's Cities in Ruin. Number 3 is Legendary X-Men, and this is for Marvel Legendary. This what brought in all my favorite characters, and also from my favorite time periods too. So, and some really good mechanisms. Legendary consistently puts out good sets. I almost picked Noir because I liked a lot of the mechanisms in Noir. But I think my favorite was just the X-Men. It was big. I think it's the biggest set for it so far. Tons of characters, including my favorites. I haven't gone through Legendary in a while and picked my favorite characters. I might have to go back and redo that list at some point. But definitely, if I made that list again, there would be people from this expansion. Number 2 for me is Arcadia Quest Pets. In any other year, this would have been my number 1. I was so excited about this before. When I just heard about it, I'm like, what? You have these characters who fight each other, and now you have a pet that comes, and the pet's a little figure, and oh, that's so cute, and it's neat. And just really excited about this. And I went out of my way to find as many of the extra pets as I could to throw in the game. It is a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool things going on in this. Just highly recommend it. It's one of those expansions I'll never play without. You know, we got 3 characters, and now you pick a pet. It's like having 4th. And the pets don't dominate the game. They're like a little support character that runs around. A cute support character, but just fun. So much, so great. Arcadia Quest Pets. And then my favorite expansion of the year easily was Champions of Midgard Valhalla. Now, 2 expansions came out for Champions of Midgard, Dark Mountains and Valhalla, and they probably could have been just one big expansion. But while Dark Mountains was fine, Valhalla changes the game and made Champions of Midgard from a game that I liked a lot to one of my favorite games. I always liked the idea of Champions of Midgard. Dice, you know, it's a worker placement game. You're getting dice to go fight monsters, while Champions of Valhalla adds extra dice to the game. If your units die, you can use them to get other things. So dead, you know, when you sometimes in our Champions of Midgard, when you roll dice, you just flub it up, and a lot of people die, and that can be a good thing. So there's glory in life and winning battles, and there's glory in death. Very Viking-style atmosphere. Really great. I really enjoyed this one. So definitely my favorite expansion of the year, Champions of Midgard Valhalla. What are your favorite expansions? Let me know in the comments. Tell me where I was right, where I was wrong. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and this has been Best of 2017 Expansions.